Shalom Israel. I'd like to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushai, the Buana to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, and Shalom to Lickman out there doing this work of faith, and labor of love, true sincerity. I come to brothers with another episode for the Spirit beareth witness, and as always, we start off with Romans 8 and 16. The Spirit beareth witness with our spirit that we are the children of the Most High. And pretty much, I was going over the book of Esther as we just passed, the Holy Day Purim, and I just was doing a little bit of reading, a little bit of research, I came across something I thought was interesting, and I thought I'd share it with you brothers up there. So Lord willing, it's edifying through the spirit of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. All right, so to get to it, this is Esther 2 and 7, and he brought up Hadassah, that is Esther, his uncle's daughter. For she had neither father nor mother, and the maid was fair and beautiful, whom Mordecai, when her father and mother were dead, took for his own daughter. So obviously from this passage, we know that Esther and Mordecai, that they were cousins. It said what? His uncle's daughter. So we also can recognize that what? Both of their fathers, they were obviously, brothers. Okay? And, I just happened to look up, the meaning of Esther's name, Hadassah, okay, and it gives Hadassah equals myrtle, and it comes from the root word Hadass, okay, which means pretty much the same thing, myrtle tree. So this word Hadass is in like you see what it's a masculine noun, but Hadassah with the AH on the end, that's the feminine form of saying myrtle, okay? And, so I looked into the further reasons why she was named Myrtle, and I also came across the fact that the name does mean myrtle, but it also stands for compassion, having love for one another, caring of one another, and things of that nature. So I went to various different sites and checked out, and it pretty much does mean myrtle, but at the same time, like I said, it represents compassion, so on and so forth. All right, so just a quick example. This is one quick site, because I found it on various sites. All right, so it says, as you can see, Hadassah, it says meaning myrtle tree. Origin, English, Hebrew, Indian. Well, we know it's really, the origin is truly Hebrew. All right, and as you look down, it says what? Passion, to love and be loved in return. Life pursuit, to do the right thing. What? Esther, her name being Hadassah, what she was, her pursuit, her life pursuit, the Most High set her up to do the right thing within that manner. Because when you read in the book of Esther, she was, Mordecai was coming to her, and letting her know that pretty much how you don't know that the Most High has, matter of fact, I'm going to just go to it and bring it up since I just quoted it. I believe it's the 4th chapter. All right, and it reads Esther 4 and 13. It says, then Mordecai commanded to answer Esther, think not with thyself that thou shalt escape in the king's house more than all the Jews. So he was telling her, this hell is about to come upon Israel from Haman, that Edomite, having hatred against Mordecai and trying to make that decree get set, for all Israel to be slaughtered off. Okay, so he said, telling her, don't think that you're going to escape more than the rest of your people. All right, so it says, verse 14, for if thou altogether holdest thy peace at this time, then shall their enlargement and deliverance arise to the Jews from another place. But thou and thy father's house shall be destroyed. And who knoweth whether thou art come to the kingdom for such a time as this? So he told her, if you don't help, out your people, the Most High is only going to raise up deliverance from somewhere else, or from someone, and use someone else to deliver his people. So he said, what? And who knoweth whether thou art come to the kingdom for such a time as this? So the Most High, basically set up just for this specific purpose, to use her and her cousin Mordecai, to deliver the children of Israel, man, within this time frame. Okay, so as I was going back to the meaning, what it says, life pursuit, to do the right thing. So that's what the Most High set her up to do. That's why the Most High had Mordecai there, you know, to be that father figure for her, so that she can have the correct morals and things and the right principles to do the right thing. All right, and it says what? Vibration, compassionate and caring. Now, so that's the the point, compassionate and caring. Like I was saying, it also, Hadassah also represents compassion. Now, when you go to Esther 2:5, it says, now in Shushan, the palace, there was a certain Jew whose name was Mordecai, the son of Jair, the son of Shema, the son of Kish, a Benjamite. So we know that what? Mordecai was Benjamin, and so what that also means from what we read in verse 7, that Esther, she was also a Benjamite, okay, because they were cousins, and well, for their fathers, they were obviously brothers from what we read in the passage. So Esther had to be of the line of Benjamin too. So when I looked up another site, okay, keep in mind, like I said, Esther's a Benjamite, right? So I came across this other site here, which is behindthename.com. This is Hadassah. Now we're going to look at the different references here, right? It says the name Hadass, the meaning is myrtle tree that is blessed for 1 week each year by the Jewish religious people on their holy day Sukkot, which is the Feast of Tabernacles. It's a little different than Hadassah and is a common name in the Jewish culture. All right, and here it says Hadass means myrtle tree. Hadassah means compassion. Okay, as I was getting into, it means myrtle tree, but also represents compassion, which Esther showed within this instance. All right, it says hence the woman's charity in Israel, Hadassah or Esther. Usually adding the AH would mean a female myrtle tree, but this is a separate case. The AH changes the meaning entirely. Hadassah, meaning compassion, is a lovely name. Now, as I said, that it definitely does mean compassion, because as I said, what Esther was a Benjamite. So what I found interesting, the day that I was reading the book of Esther and came across this information, as you can see, this comment that I'm about to read here is from a couple days ago. Today, it just crossed over into January the 30th. As you can see from here, this date was January 27th. Now, this is the same day that I looked up this information, so I know that was a spirit telling me, to look this up, right? So it says, hello, my name is Hadassah, okay? This is a shorter form of the word Hadassah, just without the H on the ends. So it says, hello, my name is Hadassah. I love the name, and I can relate to many different interpretations of the name. It is the name of a female who loves family, protective of those she loves, compassionate, as I said, it also means, and as we look from the different references, about social justice and community, and the community, what represents the people. So she was compassionate for her people by her telling, her people, to fast for 3 days and 3 nights, so that so that we all can make supplication unto the Most High, so that He would have mercy when she went before, that Elamite king, Ahasuerus, which is Xerxes. All right. So it says, I have grown into it. It is an old Jamaican name. So the name Hadassah is an old Jamaican name, and what, as we read from Esther 2 and 5 through 7, we come to find out that what Esther is of the tribe of Benjamin. So this shows that the Spirit bear witness that we are the children of the Most High, because back then, that was a Hebrew name, Hadassah, and she was of the tribe of Benjamin. But then you have now in 2016, you have this woman that put this comment that this isn't, that Hadassah, which really is Hadassah, is an old Jamaican name. So Benjamin still used that name thousands of years later, man, down the generations. So that definitely was a big sign to me that, that the Spirit bears witness that we are the children of the Most High. So it says, I have grown into it. It is an old Jamaican name, but some West Africans recognize it also. Well, because you have our people scattered over there in West Africa also, And like for instance, what the tribe of Ashanti, they're predominantly Benjamites, you know, and we have various tribes over there, you know, and various Benjamites over there in the west coast of Africa. That's why it says what, but some West Africans recognize it also. Right? It says it is also a strong name for strong female empresses. The Most High blessed the lady who named her child Hadassah a few years ago, and it's a strong name for strong female empresses. And we've seen what that Esther, you know, through the spirit of the Most High, was strong in this instance because the Most High put the spirit on her and her cousin Mordecai to fulfill His will to deliver the children of Israel. Okay, so I wanted to pull out that quick aspect as far as Hadassah Hadassah, meaning compassion. Okay, so right there, now I want to get into the reason why, or the different significance of the Most High naming her Hadassah, which means myrtle. Okay, so I looked into this site here, you know, just looking up different information. I came across this site. It says inspirational contemplation, thoughts, devotionals, random stuff, and it says what, a lesson from the myrtle tree. You know, and I you know, just speculating that this was an Edomite that wrote this article, but nonetheless, it's still spiritual. You know, we use everything in this world for edification of the elect. Okay, so to get to the point, all right, yeah, I'm gonna jump around in this article. I don't want to read. It's a lot that I want to read, but I don't want to read the whole thing. So it says, so today I stopped to once again take a closer look at nature to learn one of the many lessons it teaches. This time my instructor was the myrtle tree. The myrtle tree is only mentioned about 6 times in the Bible, but seeing it mentioned got me thinking about exactly what kind of tree it is, so I did a little research. And I'm going to jump down. At any rate, the mention of the myrtle in the Bible led me to study the myrtle tree that is closer to home. Okay, this is from Isaiah 55:13. It's according to, you know, the King James Version. Okay, it says, instead of the thorn shall come up the fir tree, and instead of the briar shall come up the myrtle tree, and it shall be to the Lord for a name, for an everlasting sign that shall not be cut off. So it says, the prophet Isaiah uses the myrtle to illustrate life and fertility, as he prophesies it growing instead of a plant that symbolizes dearth and drought. The myrtle tree is an evergreen characterized by leaves clustered so densely that the branches can't even be seen. It reminds me of the descriptive words of the psalmist, with Psalms 1:3, and he shall be like a tree planted by the rivers of water that bringeth forth his fruit in the season. His leaf also shall not wither, and whatsoever he does shall prosper. All right, so I'm gonna jump down a little further to get to the points of it. It says the imagery of those metaphors is strikingly similar to the myrtle tree, because it said what it basically represents, you know, life, okay, and fertility, which when the Most High put the spirit on them to do this in the book of Esther, you know, how the Most High set them up for the deliverance of Israel, represents that the myrtle tree shows that the myrtle tree represents life, because the nation of Israel was about to be slaughtered off, you know, under the hands of that a wicked Edomite Haman. You know, we was about to be slaughtered off, but the Most High, you know, had them set up, you know, to give life unto Israel, to continue the generations of Israel, you know. So it says it is always green and has a strong root system that keeps it going even during dire times. So it says what, the myrtle tree has a strong root system. And what did the scripture say about us being rooted in this truth? So what, you got to be rooted and built up and established in the faith, man. Okay, during what? During dire times, during harsh times, man. And that's what we're going through now. We're going through harsh times, and that's what in the book of Esther, they were going through harsh times. The Most High planted Esther in strong roots because she had Mordecai being that father figure backing her up. So she had a strong root system, which was in Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. Okay? Even when cut down to a stump, its roots caused it to sprout again. Okay? So I'll break that down a little further on as it gets into it. It says, for there is, this is Job 14:7-9. It says, for there is hope of a tree if it be cut down, that it will sprout again, and that the tender branch thereof will not cease, though the root thereof wax old in the earth, and the stock thereof die in the ground, yet through the scent of water it will bud and bring forth boughs like a plant. So I'm saying there is hope of a tree, if it be cut down, that it will sprout again. And this is talking about what the representing the way I'm using it, the way I'm representing it is of the myrtle tree. Okay, as it said further up, though the root thereof wax old in the earth, and that the stock thereof die in the ground, yet through the scent of water it will bud and bring forth boughs like a plant. So that represents us in this truth, man. You know, you could be feeling so down and out that you don't know really what's going on. You know, sometimes brothers feel like they're not a man of the Lord. You know, sometimes you might feel different things in the spirit. But what it said, what at the scent of water it will bud. So that water represents what? The word, you know. So constantly that word is what keeps you growing and budding within the truth, because what we were dead to this world, okay. And what and when we were in the world, we were dead. But at the scent of that water, when we felt like there was no way out, the Most High put the Spirit upon us, and renewed our mind with the washing of water by the word, so that we can bring forth boughs like a plant, man. So going on, it reads, the myrtle tree grows slowly. Okay, and what? Because we're newborn babes in this truth in Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. So the race is not given to the swift, so we grow slowly but surely and be built up in this faith. So it says the myrtle tree grows slowly and starts out as just a small shrub, only adding to its stature about 12 inches a year, and that's spiritual. That number 12, it only grows about 12 inches a year, so that's spiritual. This means that it takes over 100 years for this tree to finish growing. But when it matures, it is great in size and nothing like the shrub it was when it started. The massive trunk of the full-grown myrtle tree is exactly several stalks that have grown together over time to make one great tree. The comparisons abound between a Christian and this remarkable tree. It becomes strong by joining with other trees and becoming one, much like we become a part of the body of Yahweh Shai. One body with many members, Romans 12:5. Sometimes the Christian is cut down to what looks like nothing, that represents us, okay? And it can appear to be the end of his or her story because of the tragedy or misfortune that has befallen them. But because the roots run deep, eventually signs of life will begin to emerge, and again the child of the Most High will resume growth and vitality. Those roots are what led me to the most important lesson this myrtle tree conveyed to me. In my reading about the myrtle tree, I found out that the wood of this tree is used to make a variety of beautiful pieces of furniture and decorations carved by craftsmen of the Northwest. The beauty of myrtle wood is that it varies in color, okay, and design because of where it grows. Okay, so what it said, the beauty of the myrtle wood is that it varies in color, okay, just like what Jeremiah 12:9. It said, what? My heritage is as a speckled bird. And when you look up that word speckled bird, is the Hebrew word tazabawai, which means speckled, variegated, which would you get the word variety from. Different, you have Israelites, different shades and colors and of different nations, man, throughout the four corners of the earth. Okay, and designed because of where it grows. As the root draws minerals from the soil, okay, as we draw minerals from the soil, our soil, our bread and butter, where we're rooted and booted at, is in Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Yahweh Shai being that foundation. Okay, so you drawing the minerals, them spiritual nutrients from the Most High. Those minerals color the wood, giving it its beautiful variety of colors. So as we constantly grow within this truth, brothers have different ways about them. Brothers grow in each individual brother grows into the man that the Most High wants them to be. This variety enables it to be used in all kinds of settings because its versatility lends to it being able to work well with other pieces that may already be in someone's home. Okay? So it says, when I read this, I pictured the Most High's people as myrtle trees who are planted in rich soil saturated with the word of the Most High. And that's exactly how it is. Drawing from the unending source of strength and wisdom for every situation. And that's exactly how it is with every trial, tribulation, and affliction that we go through. We're supposed to gain some strength, some wisdom, some knowledge from every single situation. That's why you got to constantly meditate upon things and don't take one moment for granted. Because everything that we go through within this hell is a learning experience to help us to grow day by day, you know. Because what we learn more through our sorrows, which increases our wisdom and experience, you know. So it says, this believer is equipped with everything needed for every purpose for which the Most High intends to use them. Because what? We have to be equipped because the Most High said, what? Make ye ready for the battle of that great day. So, Lord's willing, in the end, when the time of Jacob's trouble comes upon us, the Most High will have built us up enough that we're equipped for whatever purpose within the body that we're needed to be used for, and in the end, that we can overcome, you know. So, Lord willing. So it says, the versatility of the Spirit of the Most High is shown in the numerous gifts that He has given to the church by one Spirit. We draw from the same Spirit, but we are as diverse in gifting and uses as our great and diverse power. All right, so I'm gonna read a little further on. All right, it says, roots that run deep speak of being entrenched and having a firm foundation, so that nothing sways or moves us. As it gets into and what 1 Corinthians 15 and 58, be ye steadfast and unmovable. So it says, when the water on the surface has dried up, the tree that is rooted will still draw water from deep within the earth that will sustain it, man. You know? When situations around us appear to be hopeless with no sign of getting better, we can draw from the Spirit of the Most High within us, who is able to sustain us with the assurance that we are His, reminding us of His word and that what He has spoken will come to pass. You know, and we can trust in that every single day, man. You know, we constantly drawn from the Spirit of the Most High, who sustains us in all things. You know, all right. So going on, probably read these next two paragraphs and I'll wrap it up. It says, lastly, the myrtle tree has a myriad of grain patterns. I read that each tree's pattern is developed by the things that occur in its surroundings, like how you have the saying, product of my environment. So we're molded, you know, by the things that surround us. Like when we grew up, we all grew up in different circumstances, so we were molded by the experiences that we had and by the things that we saw, by the things that we did. That's how the Most High is doing the same thing with us while we're within this truth. All right, and thinking of a quick scripture, you know, Hebrews 12 and 5. I really didn't want to make this too long. Try to go through it. You know, this is Hebrews 12 and 5. And ye have forgotten the exhortation which speaketh unto you as unto children. My son, despise not thou the chastening of the Lord, nor faint when thou art rebuked of him. So when you look up the word chastening, okay, here in Hebrews 12 and 5, it's the word, okay, paidae, all right, which basically means the whole training and education of children. The scriptures say what? Train up a child in the way he should go, which relates to the cultivation. Okay, and we're talking about trees. What trees need to be cultivated, plants need to be cultivated, right? So it says what? Which relates to the cultivation of mind and morals. Okay, and employs for this purpose now commands and admonitions, now reproof and punishment. It also includes the training and care of the body. Okay, it says what? Whatever in adults also cultivates the soul, especially by correcting mistakes and curbing passions. Instruction which aims at increasing virtue, which virtue means what? Manliness, or to be a man. So through these different examples and this word here, chastening, you know, from the Greek word paidae, shows that the Most High is molding our character into the man that He wants us to be, you know, within His truth, you know, as I was getting into in this document here. All right, so it says so each storm, each drought, every adverse condition, and every pleasurable season contributes to the beautiful design displayed in the wood of the myrtle tree. That, as I said, that's how every brother grows within his truth, and they have a different mindset. But at the end of the day, it's all one body, all one spirit. When it is molded, okay, as I just was getting into, in the hands of the craftsman, the Most High is the craftsman, Jeremiah 18, after some cutting away, sanding here, and shaping there, the myrtle wood becomes a beautiful creation. And that cutting, that sanding, and that shaping, that represents what? Us trimming our lamps within His truth. That we can become what? A beautiful creation in the eyes of the Most High. Or a righteous people, man. A royal priesthood. Okay? Getting back to, how we used to be, man. And then some. Okay? So it says, pieces made from this wood often become treasured heirlooms because of the years of growth that took place to get the wood to maturity. Okay, and you know what? This goes into what? The apostles and elders of Great Millstone. It took 20 and 30 years for them to get to the level of growth, that the Most High wanted them to be so that they can be the heads of the nation of Israel, before it even began the process of being molded into what it is become. So it says, this last part I think I'm going to read. It says, likewise, we go through a process before we reach the finished product that the Most High had in mind before we were born. We grow through various storms and adverse conditions in our lives, and sometimes things happen that cut us down, and it feels like we're starting over again. But all of our trials and tribulations and the good times that we experience contribute to the raw beauty of who we are. Okay? Before we are ever brought into the body of Yahushua, we come from a place that has shaped who we are thus far. Our experiences have shaped us and given us a different perspective than anyone else. And that's the same thing, going back into the book of Esther. All these different things was happening unto the nation of Israel at that time, in which Haman, when he heard of what was going on, he ripped his clothes and stuff like that. He put on sackcloth. That Esther was calling for him, and he told her what was going on and different things of that nature, and all of this represents what? Esther at the same time, meaning what? Her Hebrew name Hadassah, which represents the myrtle tree. Because remember, all of this is going into the myrtle tree. So the Most High was building her up, through, Mordecai, her cousin, which took custody of her as being her father, to have her in the right frame of mind so that she knows the things to do, so she knows her true and living power and knows where her strength lies at, and that's with all of us, man, So it says, they make us material with which the Most High can shape and mold a vessel that serves His purpose, and that's exactly what He had Mordecai to be there for Esther for, to use her and shape her, to mold her for this purpose. Because Esther, wound up saying, after they fast for 3 days, then she'll go up to the king, and present her case to him. And she said, what? If I die, then let it be, So the Most High using Mordecai to instill those morals and those principles in her, let her to have that compassion for her people and to put her people before she put herself. That's why Hadassah, it means what? Murder, but it also represents compassion, man. I believe that the Most High's hand was as much involved in the making of us before we yielded to Him as it is now. For our eyes were not just open to the fact that He was at work. Since no two purposes are alike, it makes sense that the circumstances and conditions that we come through to get to our place of purpose are also as different as each of us. We can't really compare ourselves to one another because each of us is unique and created for a unique purpose. We are a planet, and the environment in which we grow were all planned out by the Most High, contributing to the finished product we will become. So with that, I want to end this lesson. I just hope that it was edifying, through the spirit of Yahweh Shemi Yahushai, getting into, the book of Esther and, her Hebrew name Hadassah, which means myrtle tree, getting into the examples of showing why Nomen Omen, why she was named that, in a feminine sense, and also her name meaning compassion, and showing forth, that she was of the tribe of Benjamin. And later on, 2,000 years later, we have Benjamites that still hold on to that traditional name, Hadassah, which goes back to Hadassah in the Hebrew. Right, so with that, I'd like to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, double honor to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, and shalom to Lekman out there, doing his work of faith and labor of love and true sincerity. Shalom, and death to America.